Yeah, we're gonna get into that today. Brian, what about you and the Blue Lake project?
Yeah, I got multiple points along the timeline, Kyle, where it became obvious that it was a good bet. And um, the first one, I guess, goes all the way back to 2018 when I first heard about this. I was working as a fund manager in Toronto, and I was working at a company called Dundee, and the chairman of Dundee had bought himself 25% of the equity of this company, and then he couldn't push it forward. He became ill, and the first moment I knew this was worth betting on was when he and another guy named Douglas McCory, who built Asante Gold, they explained to me what they thought they had, and its market cap was next to nothing. So I knew that it was going to be a good bet. I also knew it was going to take a long time to play out. So we'll skip ahead several years to about 2024. Douglas McCory and I rented a chopper and two geologists for a week in May of 2024. And we spent a week visiting it's a huge land package, 682 square kilometers now, on an old continental rift. And, we spent a week looking at the highlights and examining the footprint that this thing represents and the historical tonnage that's there from drilling in the 80s. And Douglas got out of the chopper at the end of the first week and said, I'll put my own $1 million in for 2024's exploration budget. Find that, match that, let's go. And that was big because at the time, his prior company, Asante, which is 3 gold mines in Ghana, is now, I don't know, 2 billion market cap. And he said this is going to be faster and better than that. So those are two of my moments along a long stretch. And I guess the most recent one is when our geology team came up with an entirely new interpretation of what they've seen. And we are now chasing the model that we have, the second Raglan mine, or a Raglan type mine. And also buildable, we hope, and buildable, we think. So rather than spend 20 minutes on one answer, Kyle, I'll hand the microphone back to you.
No, that's great. So Gupani's Blue Lake sits in Schefferville area, and Clean Air's Thunder Bay North runs along the Thunder Bay corridor. Both historic districts with existing infrastructure, but still genuinely frontier ground. How has that paradox shaped the way you design exploration programs and sequence your targets? And we'll go back to you, Mike, to kick this one off.
Yeah, I can be fairly brief on this. So because of our location, say we could get our drilling cost is look, a contractor sleeps in town and drives up to the site. Our cost per meter is quite low. That would drive you, maybe we drilling more than you should. I'd like to inform the listeners, we do have almost a 15 million ton indicated resource. So what we have is generally well drilled off. We do have down plunge potential. How do we decide what we're going to do? Well, it's all about what's best for what we're trying to do with the project. And we like to say we'd like to do both. We're moving ahead with trying to develop that 15 million ton indicated resource. And as such, there's some targets within there to infill. But there's also the down plunge potential for scale, that it's a little bit deeper holes, and that would be priority one in terms of drilling. But the reality is we're so close to town, lower drilling costs. We still want to be very specific and with our drilling and not overdo it, not drill for the sake of news flow in particular.
No, definitely. And Brian, frontier ground, how does that shape your exploration programs and your targets?
It's frontier and it's not at the same time. It's really a unique situation. So Schefferville was built for mining in the 1940s. It's been running almost continuously open pit iron ore mines since the 1940s. Currently, most of the open pit for iron ore there is owned by Tata. It was originally built by the Iron Ore Company of Canada. They built the railway, they built the airport, they built the town site, and that's all still there, and it's all taking ore down to the Atlantic Ocean by rail right now. Our site is 65 kilometers from that railhead. And so when we're drilling, we send things up on the rail and then we fly it out or drag it out, as the case may be, to the site. And in the winter, that's easier. So how does that affect us? I guess the first thing is we have a historical, I guess we'll call it historical estimate, because it was drilled before the 43-101 rules came in.
Mhm.
And it was drilled on 60-meter, 100-foot spacing. So we know it's there. And it's 4.4 million tons of more than 2% copper equivalents. We'll get into all that later, or you can look at stuff on our press releases on our website. But how are we doing it? Because that tonnage is in less than 10 square kilometers. We have 682 square kilometers of the same surface indication rock type. So we're essentially thinking of it as a brownfield, right? Assume that the smartest thing to do is to start from where there's already that tight space drilling in the historical estimate and move out slowly from there. And the move out, which is what we're talking about this morning with drilling's press release, there's a 15 kilometers of undrilled magmatic river flow, as I'll call it for the generalists, that our existing tonnage or historical estimate is part of, but there's 13 kilometers that have never been touched. And it looks like it's all the same kind of rock type and the same metallogenesis, hopefully. And over time, we will step out and step out and step out. So what we're drilling right now is, I guess you could call it brownfield because it's in the shadow of an existing thing.
Right.
But it's clearly green in the sense that we're testing new ideas. And if the test proves accurate, there's a huge inventory of obvious high priority corridors sitting in front of us.
So staying with you, Brian, as you both mentioned, there's historic work on both of your projects. What was the key data insight or geological reread that unlocked the next leg of exploration for each of you?
Yeah, this one's obvious. August of 2025, VP of Exploration Jacques Gauthier and Independent Director Danielle Giovinazzo were in camp, and they were looking over the project. They were looking over the prior work done by prior teams. And, Jacques is quite right. He would tell you the story. He was in the chopper and we were flying along, and he pointed down and he said, "That's columnar jointing." Columnar jointing, for those who don't know, is if there's a river of lava and it cools quickly, it always makes hexagon shapes. So that proved that our historical tonnage is at the bottom of an old river of magma or river of lava, whatever you want to call it as a generalist. And that told us so much about where to go look next. So that's our one key moment of reinterpretation.
Hello?
Yep, I'm there.
Sorry, my internet was a little laggy there, but I hope it came in clear for everyone. I just lost the last 30 seconds of that.
It was brilliant, Kyle.
No. I'm sure if you're in the chat, please let me know if there's any issues on your end, but it might have just been my end. We'll move on though, but I did get the gist of it. Apologies. So despite Blue Lake's district scale land position, well, I guess I never give Mike an opportunity to talk on that last question. So Mike, if you have any commentary on clean air.
No, I'm pretty sure. No, I did. I was the one who started with that one.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Thanks for the technical difficulties and your patience, everyone. Despite Blue Lake's district scale land position and Thunder Bay North's established resource footprint, both companies remain relatively unknown compared to bigger copper or PGE names. What do you think explains that? And what would it take for the broader market to sit up and pay attention? And Mike, we'll go with you.
Yeah, I think that's that's the $1 million question there. I could speak to the reasons why I think we should be. If you look at some of our intersections from our exploration program last year, I think we had probably the second best intersection across North America for copper nickel PGEs. The challenge I think for us. and which is why we are jumping back into looking at the down plunge and maybe shoring that up a bit. I think in the market, the early exploration gets a lot of attention. You get a lot of good drill results. Projects that are close to ready to build, that, if you look at the Lassonde curve, and we're into studies, we just completed a PEA on our asset, and looking to carry on with studies. That really doesn't get a whole lot of attention, doesn't really get a whole lot of love. So the nice thing about Thunder Bay North is we can do both, right? We could drive that scale through that down plunge exploration, but also, again, the timing's hot to advance this project, and we need to take advantage of that. So that for me, that'd be the big difference there. Is I think we need to demonstrate some scale in the down plunge area.
Gotcha. And Brian, would you agree that Kupani is relatively unknown, and why should people sit up and pay attention?
Oh, I would absolutely agree. We're relatively unknown. As you just heard, we got serious about this project in 2023, 2024. And look, why are we unknown? Well, time takes time to put the name out, takes time to get recognized. But I would also say we're probably 2 or 3 years into a metals bull cycle, both for the pricing of the metals like copper and platinum, palladium, but also for the kind of investors who buy mining equities, right? There's two groups of mining equity investors. There's the people who want the dividends, right? They want to own Agnico, they want to own things that are in production and have multiple mines and in multiple jurisdictions, and that you can value it on, how much cash flow is it creating, and the royalty companies are, I guess, at the top of that stack. And then there's another group of investors, the one who make their money by answering the question, well, how big can it get? And that's the exploration group that Mike was talking about a minute ago. So we're getting onto the radar screen of the how big can it get crowd. And, I'm doing things like beginning road shows, going to different cities across Canada. We have a huge audience in Quebec. We'll be going down to the US for the first time next month. And we have a great project. We have a great team. I have complete faith in both of those. It's my job to get the word out, and that's what I'll be doing. And as the word gets out, you'll see the stock price go up and up and up.
So what about the sense of urgency? What's one thing you're seeing at Blue Lake right now that tells you the under the radar phase has a finite shelf life?
Yeah, if we come back out of the drilling program that we said is underway today with results that show mineralization is not just in the area that has already been known about for decades, then the idea that we have this immense possible camp or district scale thing to explore becomes clear for everyone to see. And the other thing I'll point out about running public companies is, you really get valued, in my experience, on what you did 2 years ago, right? I find that when I was running other companies, the stock would be at, a stock had run from 50 cents to $5. And the people who were buying it at $5 were telling me the reasons they were buying it. And it was all kind of based on work we did 2 years ago. It takes that long for the company narrative to percolate into people's minds.
It takes a while.
What this company was doing 2 years ago was just finishing its land package.
That's why I tell you people to buy.
So 2 years from now, people will be,
because in 2 years,
speed it up all
it's
better.
going to
but
be $5.
it just takes time, Kyle. You need to keep knocking on the door. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking to themselves, "Oh, I need more copper nickel exploration exposure." But they do wake up thinking, "I wonder how I'm going to make some money in the stock market," and that's the answer we're trying to give to people.
Well said. Mike, what's one aspect of Thunder Bay North that you think the exploration community still hasn't given enough credit to, and why does it matter?
Yeah, so I'll divide the exploration community into ones that understand the potential of the mid-continent rift related intrusions in the Thunder Bay region. They're well supported, and they're some of our biggest champions. But outside of that, people that do pay attention to nickel, copper, PGE systems, and and I'll speak to those that understand Stillwater, understand South Africa. Yeah, they see what's in the mid-continent rift region and don't see scale or even grade. And unfortunately, fortunately, we're probably one of the better grade deposits in mid-continent rift. But the one thing I think that people are starting to pay attention more is if you a similar deposit to ours is the Tamarack deposit by Talon, and then their down plunge of one of their intrusions, they hit a significant intersection of massive sulfide. So I think the broader exploration community doesn't really give enough credit to the potential massive sulfide accumulations you can get. We are just starting to understand. In the last couple of years, we've actually done a better job of understanding the how, what drives the accumulation and where it occurs. And so that's kind of the vector for our future exploration. And I think the local exploration community do understand that. I think broader, really letting credence to the quality of mid-continent rift related intrusions, that's kind of missing from the broader exploration community.
And just staying with you, Mike, and you kind of already addressed it, but just to put a fork into it and a nice clear question, looking at the next 12 to 24 months, what is a single drill target or target area each of you is personally most fired up about? And what would a genuine aha moment look like if the geology delivers?
Okay, so yeah, start with me. So yeah, and I talk about it enough. I think we kind of had an aha moment this year. We reinterpreted some past magnetotelluric data and kind of looked at what Talon was doing with respect to trying to understand massive sulfide flows and where they occur. So we reanalyzed that data and came up with a bunch of targets that we didn't have before. And as I said, drilled the first one with some remaining flow through funds we had. And as I said, hit 50 meters of mineralization, 500 meters deep. So an aha moment, I think, so that was 400 meters away from the known resource. We have 2.5 kilometers of strike in the down plunge and with a number of targets along there. So I would like to think that the stepping out even further, maybe a kilometer or so, and intersecting or downhole geophysics that's showing a good conductor, that would be a great aha moment for us that really shows that potential.
And Brian, care to provide context for you? You just announced drilling this morning. What would the aha moment be when you get the results back?
Yeah, so I'll broaden the question a little bit by answering to say that we've been having aha moments every 6 months, to be honest. The aha moment about this could be the next Raglan style exploration realization, and then almost simultaneous to that, but just before that, we ran a huge V10 magnetics and magnetic electromagnetic survey, and we found what looked to be two entirely new regions that have never been explored before that have the same response, the same surface sampling as the area that has our historical tonnage estimates. So it might already be a triple, we just don't know it, and we'll need nothing but time and money to figure that out. So that's what's happened just in the last 12 months, those two things. But the next, obviously, if we find the mineralizations in the places we expect to find it, that proves our theories. That tells us that this immense inventory of land to look at is going to be super fertile for a long time to come. And that would be our biggest aha moment yet.
This next question is more directed toward you, Brian, but Mike, feel free to add commentary regarding clean air after Brian answers here. But both of you control substantial ground with more targets than you can chase at once. Walk us through your decision-making process. How do you rank targets and decide what gets drilled first when a dozen areas are compelling for the rig?
Sure, it's almost like doing a crossword puzzle, Kyle. You're going across each line looking for something that might connect to a word you're chasing, right? So on each square, you're looking at all the squares around it. And that really keeps us focused on what I said earlier. We want to stay near the known tonnage so that when we step out and we find something, we know how to relate it back to what's already understood. So that's why we're to the north and to the south of the existing tonnage with our drill program. There's a map that came out today about that. But we're not leaping 2, 5, 10 kilometers away, although we think it's the same kind of land. Because if you find something there, you don't know exactly how to follow all the magmatic channels back to the tonnage you know about. So that's how we're staying close to making sure that when we learn something new, we understand how it fits into what we already know. And then related to that, the historical tonnage that we're talking about in the places we're drilling now, they're all pretty much flat lying. They have like a 2-degree dip. And so that's an easier drill. It's a shorter drill than some of the other spots on our landscape where you might have a 30-degree dip. So we're doing that first.
And Mike, I'd argue yours is more two-pronged approach, competing for dollars than over rigs, right? With studies and drilling.
Yeah. So look, I think we have a 300 square kilometer land package with 5 intrusions. I mean, we're only working 2 of them. The 3 other intrusions, there's no mineralization. I would say they're underexplored. Yeah, they are on our radar. And then so that's at one end of the spectrum. At the other end of the spectrum, we have the opportunity, and a lot in 2024 and 2025, where we had these ballroom structures within the known indicated resource that we thought were undersized. We drilled some tightly spaced holes in a few areas and expanded some of these by 100%. So and added a bunch of grade to our resource. So on those end, there's the bookends of what we can do, but in the middle is and I've talked about it quite enough, is that potential to actually expand the resource. And so if you say how do you decide? I mean, I think the resource expansion will actually move the needle for us more than the other 2 targets.
No, that makes sense. I have one more question queued up, but I think it's a good one to wrap up with. There are a few questions in the chat, so I'm just going to ask them right now. We'll start with you, Brian. An individual in the chat's wondering the expected drilling in terms of cost and cost per meter.
Yeah, so our cost, the total drill program.
All right, that's the end of that one. I'm gonna go ahead and get the email. That's it right there. Of World Platinum Council, the World Platinum Investment Council to me here. You just email in my browser. Okay. A type of platinum cured silicone is essential for producing a safe, reliable components of all shapes and sizes, especially medical devices. Liquid silicone rubber, LSR, a type of platinum cured silicone, is known for its flexibility, durability, and resilience to extreme temperatures. Its properties make it ideal for thousands of applications requiring a reliable, safe, and long-lasting material. Industries ranging from automotive to healthcare rely on LSR production, like seals, gaskets, and even baby bottles, notably given its high purity. LSR is especially suitable for medical applications where chemical stability, safety, and non-toxicity are paramount. Platinum's catalysts are integral to the manufacture of silicones like LSR because they ensure a highly efficient and consistent during the process. For example, the chemical company Wacker uses platinum as a catalyst for curing of cross-linked silicone-related agents for addition curing silicone products. This effectively translates to lower production cost and improved quality product quality. The manufacturing process begins with silicone monomers, small monomers that link together to perform polymers. When a platinum catalyst is mixed in with the silicone polymers, damn it, gotta push the button to read more. It facilitates I hit read more. It facilitates, okay, how do I get rid of this now? Yeah, okay, accept them, get out of there. Really? Facilitates medical applications, production distance, increase quality production, silicone process related, determine final properties of LSR. Medical grade, let's see here, that's not it. Okay, thanks to its purity and biocompatibility, medical demand for this product made from SLR ranges from ventilation masks and handles for surgical tools to tubing for use in heart and lung machines, diabetes, respiratory equipment, catheters, hoses made from LSRs, considered ideal in dispensing drugs and certain vaccines. It is even used to make implantable devices. Medical grade products made with LSRs can also withstand high temperatures and frequency sterilizations. As demand grows for safer, more advanced healthcare technologies, platinum catalyst LSRs continue. Excuse me, 3 in a row. Continue to enable innovations that ultimately improve patient care, building on its existing portfolio of platinum catalysts, medical grade silicones. DuPont global business is focused on the technology-based materials and has recently produced a range of non-generation LSR products. The range includes materials with improved flow, lower viscosity, greater processing efficiency, helping manufacturers produce more complex and precise medical parts cost effectively. These new grades meet demand requirements and regulatory requirements. Pachinga, here you go. Platinum, the future. Future of medical devices, future of everything. Polymers, silicones, all of it. Platinum, platinum, platinum. And the African mines are going to the bottom of their mines. The only new platinum mine opening up in the planet is Clean Air Metals in Thunder Bay. They will be pulling ore out the end of 2027, beginning of 2028. In my personal opinion, not being a financial advisor, if you were to buy yourself some right now at about 4 cents, you would be doing yourself a very good service. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and end this run here because it doesn't seem like we have too many people. There's only one of you here. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. I appreciate you guys showing up. Have yourself a great day, and I hope you learned a little something about platinum because it is the metal of the future. We need it. You got to have some of it. Look at Clean Air Metals. You'll love owning it in 2 years. Don't trust me, do your own research. Have a good day, people. Bye-bye.